freedom. We really have it, don't we? It's been a while since I've been doing this, so I haven't changed much, by the way. I'm still a left-brain guy who needs lots of notes. Okay, so I hope you got a half day or so. But I question the freedom. And this is why Minerva and Julia asked me if I would be willing to speak one of the Sundays that she's gone. I said, well, July 7th? Yeah, actually, that if I can speak on freedom, that suits me. I would be happy to do that. So here I am. But as you may know, you may remember that I like to start with a little bit of humor. Back in February, I was down at the Gardens Hospital for some surgery, and they have a softball team down there, and they play in season. But at the end of the season, there's one person, it's a male nurse, who is assigned to make sure that all the equipment the various players use is returned to them. And he pretty much completed that job, except there was one left. He had a bat that belonged to one of the surgeons who was a very avid softball player. So he said that day, he went to the car, got the bat out of the trunk, walked in, he had his nurse's uniform on, took the bat and he walked into the surgery department, the waiting area specifically. You know what's coming, huh? Okay, so as he walks by, there's a little lady, an old lady that's on a buggy that's getting ready to be wheeled into the theater. And next to her is her husband, lovingly, speaking to her and holding her hand. And as he walks by them and gets ready to enter the door into the surgeon's office, he overheard the old man say, "Hey, look, honey, no more waiting. Your anesthesiologist has arrived." Okay. So, you have a title? Anyway, okay, it's all right. Yeah.
It's just
no, that's okay. The title of my lesson is America, Land of the Free? Question mark. Okay. And it'll become clear why I'm doing that. And I hope that what I have to say today will at least get you to think about what I'm talking about. I'm not here to solve anybody's problems. I'm lucky if I can solve my own. I'm still working on those. But, we've all been celebrating freedom this week. And the song that it's one of my favorite songs. But what we have been celebrating, what we continue to celebrate are what I would call external freedoms. Okay, freedoms to do things and all that. But those freedoms depend on something that is even more important, and that is what someone called an internal freedom. A lady by the name of Yasmin Mogahed, who's an Egyptian-born American, said this about freedom. She said there are internal chains and external chains. All of the external chains in the world won't enslave you if you're free inside. And all the external freedoms in the world won't liberate you if you're chained inside yourself. So let's talk a little bit about internal freedom. What she calls internal freedom is really a potential freedom. It is a freedom that anyone can have, but no government or organization can give it to you, which also means that no one can take it away from you. But achieving true internal freedom takes a lot of effort from anyone who wants to do that. So what is internal freedom all about? A person who is internally free has the ability to respond, and in big letters and quotes, appropriately to anything that happens in any given moment in their life. And it's a freedom that many people don't have. And as I continue, you may even question whether you have it. So what might be keeping us from being internally free? Well, it's kind of simple. False beliefs and dysfunctional subconscious programs. So where do they come from? This is one time when it's okay to blame somebody else. Because psychologists have found that we acquire many of our most cherished beliefs during the first 7 years of our lives. That's the years when our minds are like little sponges, and anybody that, particularly people in authority, parents, whatever, what they tell us, that sticks, okay? And many of those beliefs, be they right or wrong, useful or not, have been reinforced year after year after year by family, society, media, schools, and of course religions. Real culprits in there. So unless we make a deliberate effort to change any beliefs that aren't serving us, they will affect our behavior all our life, and quite often to our detriment. Our deeply buried beliefs are a bit like, how many of you operate computers or know how to operate a computer? Pretty much all of you. Okay. Our deeply buried beliefs are kind of like the Windows or iOS program that underlies the proper functioning of the computer, because without those it won't work, right? And if our computer acts up, we often look at that underlying operating system to resolve the issue. We may even have to reinstall Windows or iOS in order to get the thing working properly. However, let's say something goes wrong in our lives. Do we look at our underlying operating system? No. We blame it on somebody or something outside. Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'm sure many of you have heard his name, put it this way. By the time we are 35 years old, most of us are little more than a bundle of subconscious programs with memorized behavior patterns, beliefs, attitudes, and emotional reactions that run almost continually on autopilot. It's a bit harsh, but it's true in many cases. Now, most of us want loving relationships, abundant joy, good health, financial security. But more than that, I think as metaphysics students particularly, we want to experience a deep soul-level peace and love, no matter what happens in our lives. Something that stays with us. But to be fully in charge of how we experience our lives, and to have that real peace and love in every circumstance of our life, we need to get rid of any false beliefs and dysfunctional subconscious programs. I can hear you thinking, thank God I've studied metaphysics all these years, I'm done with that stuff. But are you really? Good. How about we do a quick check? Do you ever get caught up in judgments, grudges, hurt feelings, competition with others? Do you ever feel insecure, experience emotional pain or irrational fears? Oops, Nick. Do you ever go along with unwanted behavior from others because you're afraid of what they might say or do if you don't go along with them? So, do generalize any time that we respond to another's behavior in thought, word, or deed with an automatic gut type reaction. Okay, this isn't something that you think about it. With the intent to oppose, confront, or obstruct in ways that do not serve yours or theirs highest good, then you're not truly free. Yes. Now, one of the examples, and I'm sure some of us may have participated in this, road rage is a good example. But there are, I've mentioned this once before, there are more subtle ways, okay? You're driving your car, and you see a guy that's backed a few cars, and he's switching from one lane to the other, just trying to get ahead of one more. And you are in this lane, and over here's the curb line. Now, there's another car there, but he's about a car and a half length ahead of you. So now you see the guy coming up behind you. Now what he's going to do next? He's going to shoot over there and climb in front of you. So he's just so gently, you look around, oh, nothing going on, just gently put the accelerator down and kind of close the gap just enough so he can't get in. Now, I don't know how many of you, I've done that, okay? And don't do it anymore. So I'm learning. But that is a very subtle way that our programming goes to work. And daily we see all kinds of dysfunctional behavior played out in our very, very polarized world. And far too many people are not free internally, and they're at odds with the world that's out there. weeks ago, Reverend Tony reminded us of something that we often tend to forget. Our experience of the world out there is based on the projection of our own consciousness, i.e. the sum total of our beliefs, subconscious and conscious. Abraham Lincoln once said this: America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we should falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. And it seems to me that our dysfunctional behaviors have begun putting our cherished external freedoms at risk already. And to one degree or another, we're all guilty. As long as any of us fail to truly understand, and I'm not just talking intellectually, I'm talking in our hearts, the underlying unity of all mankind, and for that matter of all of creation, we will continue to manifest bigotry, political turmoil, economic inequality, and attacks on our freedoms, and the conflicts that we see on TV every day. In my opinion, our country will only be able to manifest truly expansive external freedoms for everyone when a substantial majority of us become internally free of false beliefs and dysfunctional programs. So how can we heal that stuff? It's very difficult to uncover and eradicate beliefs and subconscious programs that keep us bound, because as I pointed out earlier, we formed a lot of these in the early years and they stayed with us. I have tried for a lifetime almost to heal a very, very deep-seated lack of self-worth. Okay. And I tried everything back when it first got really bad for me in my mid-30s. I tried everything. Psychologists. I went to a psychiatrist who said, I can't help you. So I could give you a drug. Well, my GP gave me some drugs. Didn't work too well either. And I just couldn't find any kind of a solution that was, say, medical or psychological that was very readily going to help me. I did over a year's worth of what at that time was the beginning of medical hypnosis. There was a Dr. Daniel Selling up in Ohio, near where I lived, and he was a pioneer in that. He actually came over from Holland. He taught medical hypnosis to an awful lot of doctors in this country. I went to him, he couldn't help me. In fact, by the time I got done after about 14 months, I felt worse than when he started. He tried to uncover what the hell was going on. And sorry, but at the end, I said, I'm not paying $100 a pop anymore to get, So, what has helped me the most? Well, in 1980, I found unity. All right. I started going into real funk in 76, 77. After I incidentally had a very, very powerful, incredibly powerful spiritual experience that lasted more than 2 months. But what I found is that the love that I experienced from so many fellow unitics, Sunday after Sunday, week after week, year after year, every time, every year went by and I got a little bit better. But I'm not done. I still need more healing. Okay? I'm standing up here, I'm an 83-year-old man that has a kid inside that's terrified. It doesn't think it's worth it. So, it's still work to be done. So, you've heard many times that the truth will set you free. Well, I've studied truth for many years. I actually read my first metaphysics book in 1960, believe it or not. Many of you weren't around then. So, this idea of the truth will set you free. How many of us are truly free after we studied metaphysics for how long? Okay? So instead of trying to ferret out each offending subconscious belief, I'd like to suggest another method. And it seems to me that a major obstacle to a true experience of our inner freedom is an almost universally held false belief. And that is our belief in separation. Right? And Reverend Tony 2 weeks ago talked about it. So to conclude my lesson, I'd like to invite you to try a technique that I'm working with right now. And I hope this method will lead to a kind of mass extinction of a lot of hang-ups that keep me from living as a truly free spiritual being in a human body. I haven't demonstrated that yet, but I'm hoping this will help. But I really believe that if we want to be free, we have to practice love. I think everything always comes back. You know, Jesus focused on that a lot. It always comes back down to love, and we have to love ourselves because we can't love somebody else unless we do. So if we master the practice of love, I absolutely know from my experience that I had back in '76 that we will find all the truth we will ever need in order to fulfill our purpose on earth. You won't have to read another book. You will know, okay, without a doubt. Now, no one knows what God is or who he is or whatever, right? Can we agree on that? No one really knows. We're all sort of guessing. So I see what I call source. I don't like the word God, but I'll use it if, you know. I see it as an infinite intelligence, energy, and consciousness that is the foundation of underneath all creation. Okay? And creation is a very, very complex expression of that source or God. And you may find this image useful. Think of this source or God as a full spectrum white light. Everybody know what a prism is? You've been to high school, you know, prisms, okay? Shine white light in over here, rainbow comes out again. So we're talking about source, or God on one side, perfect white light, all the frequency involved. But on the other side, you think of universal consciousness as that prism, and what emanates on the other side of that prism is an infinite variety of visible and invisible expressions, each with its own consciousness, but each one of those also connected to that universal consciousness. In other words, what I call source, or you call God, is all there is. And everything that exists is just an expression thereof. Okay? So here's how we could put that knowledge into practice. And I call it the practice of love. That might lead us to a true freedom. Since there is no God and, okay, any time that we look at our partner, a relative, a friend, a stranger, a so-called enemy, let's gently remind ourselves that we are looking at a physical expression, or as Reverend Tony put it, an extension of Source or God. Send them all your love, but at the same time, let's remind ourselves that when we look out there on the highest level, we're looking at ourselves, because there is no God end. Okay? Now, if we keep doing that until our moment-to-moment heartfelt awareness happens, initially it's just intellectual, and that's fine. We have to do it that way. It's just the way we're constructed. But if we think about and focus on that long enough, it'll become part of our heart. That's how we can become truly free. That'll get rid of all the junk. So is this simple? Yes, it's very simple. Like most practices in metaphysics, things are simple, but they're not easy. You have to remind yourself daily. But I know from personal experience that feeling love much of the time is almost impossible for me. But if I continue to train my mind and maintain the intention to love all the expressions of Source, it will become a better and better world each day. And that's what I'm resolved to do. We can only do this if we really want to be free. I plan to stick to that particular methodology until I find something better. But it's up to each one of you. Just know that when you leave this little slice of heaven right here, you will find plenty of challenges to your resolve to love all that you see. So thank you for listening, and namaste.
the offering, please?
We need you.
Oh, I thought you
Well,
were
we
collecting.
can do it from here.
I thought you were in collective first.
Yeah, we can do
Yeah,
that.
bless you.
Divine love.
Through
us, blesses and multiplies all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. We give and receive always in love.
Push it again, Ron. Push it again, Ron.
And where there's doubt through faith in you. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to meet a soul as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy.
All right, let's extend our hands. Father, Mother God, we are so very, very grateful for all these offerings. And we know that they will bless this church as it continues to help heal people and to bring more light into the world. And we know that each one will be blessed for the offerings that they are making. And we see them all going forth to do a great work, to transform this world to one of true freedom and inner peace and love for each and every person alive. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you.
And our children's blessing, if everyone will stand.
Really well together.
This is for Reverend Julia, probably the only person here that has a young child.
We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we hold the Christ in you, and we see you doing great things.
Now, we form a nice circle, hold hands.